Good morning, my neighbors!
I mean, I've got to start with that, letting the whole world know that he's a race winner once again at the age of 41. Sir Lewis Hamilton has won his first race in nearly 2 years, and his first for the new side he joined last season, talking about Ferrari. In his second stint with the side, probably he might not have gone the way he would have envisaged when he joined last year, but this time around, winning the first race in a brilliant fashion has to be commended. And a legend of the sport at 41 years, his 106th career win, and he's still waxing strong for that side. Congratulations to him. He led the race in a very, very decent one. And, the manner in which he did that, he just has to be commended. I mean, I, for one, would not personally give it to the team. That's a Ferrari, because you look at their second driver and how it ended. It wasn't the case as Charles would have wanted it to end for him. But you just have to give it to Lewis Hamilton, how he was able to, have that cordial relationship with his new race engineer. Talking about Carlos Santi. I'm getting into the nitty gritty. That's how excited I am for Lewis Hamilton. And he breathes that kind of life that Arsenal fans had just about some weeks ago when they won the Premier League for themselves. But you just have to, appreciate the effort that the legend is bringing this time around. Congratulations to him. And I'm applauding him once again. The world is happy to have Lewis Hamilton win his first race in almost 2 years. But yes, we can say the seventh race of the season is done and dusted. The Barcelona-Catalunya Grand Prix ended, done for the season, and it was a dramatic race. One that brought a bit of surprise to some disappointments, and retirement also. Strategic battles for some teams. But let's get through how it ended. Lewis Hamilton came in first, winning the race for himself, followed by George Russell, who came in second, and also Lando Norris, who finished at third. It was an all-British podium finish, the first time we are going to be seeing that since 1968. And you just have to give credit to those drivers. At fourth was Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri in fifth, Hajar in sixth, Pierre Gasly in seventh, Colapinto in eighth, and Liam Lawson and Lindblad 9th and 10th respectively. That's their second double points this season. 11th was Gabi Bortoleto in the Audi, Carlos Sainz in the Williams, Ocon finished 13th, and also Perez for the Cadillac finished 14th in that race. We had about 7 retirements from Stroll to Bottas, Hülkenberg, Albon. Well, Albon didn't entirely finish the race, but it was not classified as a race finisher in that one. Alonso, Kimi Antonelli, which was quite unfortunate and shocking. The championship leader retired from the Barcelona Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc, retirement again after what we saw in Monaco, and Olivier Behrman was the last retirement we had in that race. Back to the race winner, Lewis Hamilton. You just need to give it to him and also his race engineer and the team himself for how they came out to execute that race perfectly for him, because 3 pit stop. When it started on the soft, it was quite surprising that what kind of strategy are they going? We have 66 laps here. Why not start him on a much more reliable tire that can go the length there, launch him on the soft much later. But they started on the soft, came in again for the medium, and then lastly for the hard. I would say that the team gambled. Not 100% give it to the team for how they were able to do this, but Lewis was just Lewis in a very good car on the day, because we know the Ferraris, you really cannot tell. Next race, it might just go down south for them. So we've seen this over and over happen for them. But you just need to appreciate the work that Lewis Hamilton had to put into this race. How he was able to stay out, manage everything has to do with the car and still get the car to the finishing line. And with that, he became the oldest winner since 1917. In the Barcelona Grand Prix, just like we had the youngest ever driver to win in Barcelona. Talking about Max Verstappen in 2016, we're having the oldest winner since 1917 to win at the Barcelona Grand Prix. Lewis extracted the maximum out of that car, because for him to get beyond the Mercedes of Antonelli and also George Russell, because we all know that the Mercedes have the best of engines right now. The car was super fast and exciting to see, because at some point it was about 13 seconds faster than the Mercedes rocket ship. So you just have to give kudos to the car that Lewis Hamilton drove and how he was able to brilliantly execute that for himself. We saw a retirement from Kimi Antonelli, which was quite unfortunate. It was second after getting that launch against his teammate Russell towards the end of the race at lap 62, and he had to retire at the end of that. I'm very sure he's got it for himself right now. The Mercedes car need to check out their reliability. George Russell, but this time around it is Kimi Antonelli. The season is still quite early, and you don't want to have drop points for the team as a whole, and also for the drivers. It's quite disappointing for themselves. Charles Leclerc, in his second consecutive race, also retired. Well, absolutely no idea what happened at that point in time, but the Ferrari need to do their background check on that particular car, because retirement in his home race and also retiring in his consecutive race needs to be checked. He's not going to be the happiest man right now, seeing his teammates going on podium and winning the race, and he's on the other side still battling with reliability for the car. Needs to be checked by the team at the garage. So all in all, 3 podiums for Lewis Hamilton in Canada, in China, and now in Barcelona. 1 race win in just the 7th race of the season. I mean, probably the fans can start dreaming of that 8th championship that is coming. Of course, it's still a large gap as against the race leader himself, talking about Kimi Antonelli, but you could say that there are promises to look forward to in the Ferrari car, and hopefully we get to see the best from the team, because like I said earlier, you can't totally rely on the Ferrari team to get the best out of their drivers, because we could see that this is not the first time, and Ferrari will always be Ferrari. Hopefully Lewis can keep up that momentum with his race engineer. I have to mention that the relationship with Carlos Santi is quite brilliant, and you just have to give it up for how the dynamics has been going smoothly. Lewis will ask for something and then he gets a response. That's one thing that Lewis lacked last season as against his former engineer. At times he might be asking for something to do and the decision is not made in time. He might even be asking for an advice or something, or be suggesting to his engineer, and you could say that there's been a trajectory and how things have been working well, and the synergy between both. For those that watch the race, you could see the back and forth between himself and his engineer, the engineer giving an advice and he also coming to also acknowledge that. And then there was a point in time where he was asking the engineer, how is it faring? And I had something like, you are doing really, really good. You have to cast your mind back to that relationship he had with Bono, who is currently the race engineer for Kimi Antonelli. And that synergy is what Lewis Hamilton would have wanted. Someone who could listen to him, someone who he could also advise or even get advice from. That's one thing Lewis Hamilton is lacking: a good car and a brilliant engineer. And I believe that this race in Barcelona will be the trajectory that we should look forward to for the team, and that synergy that they have between themselves. That relationship is one thing that it lacked last season. But hopefully that has changed right now with what we've seen, and the Tifosi, the Ferrari fans, can dream probably of that 8th championship coming soon. But is that going to be possible? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. The start of the race was looking as if nothing was really going to happen, but the drama came in much later in the race, and you just need to appreciate the work that the drivers have been able to put in for themselves. Nothing really much happened in the race aside the retirement, Lewis Hamilton winning the race itself. Nothing really caught the fancy of people. But so that will be all for my review of the race in general. What were your highlights from the race? Let me know in the comment section. The big question right now would be, with this race win Lewis Hamilton has gotten, does that spell the continuation of great things for him and the Ferrari team? Are we going to see this continuous run that he's recently having at that side? Or probably it's going to be topsy-turvy? We still have a lot of races to go for the season. So let me know your thoughts concerning that. What were your highlights of the race in general? I will take a break right now. We'll be back in a fortnight where we get to see the next race in Austria. That will be the Red Bull Arena for that one. So that will be all for now, and I'll catch you in my next video. Cheers.